Hey guys, the Gaming NASCAR Pilot here, and this will be a full playthrough of Riven with commentary, the whole game, not speeding things up or skipping cutscenes and being in a rush and everything. We're just simply going to play the game as is, just to have some fun, because why not?
Thank God you've returned. I need your help. There's a great deal of history that you should know, but I'm afraid that I must continue my writing. Here. Most of what you'll need to know is in there. Keep it well hidden. For reasons you'll discover, I can't send you to Riven with a way out. But I can give you this. It appears to be a linking book back here to Dunny. But it's actually a one-man prison. You'll need it, I'm afraid, to capture Gehn. Once you've found Catherine, signal me, and I'll come with a linking book to bring us back. There's also a chance, if this all goes well, that I might be able to get you back to the place that you came from.
And we start the game locked up. But then someone comes over here.
Yo? Feriaje. Kakaware po. Modugo po me po. Tagema. Rekoa. Tagema misu rekoa. Misirapo. Umutika boku wa nai. Misirapo. Umutika boku wa nai. Boku wa nai. Misirapo. Boku wa nai. Boku wa nai. Boku wa nai.
And then he got shot. Which isn't expected. I like how I said that so casually. And then he got shot. What just happened? Did the game just freeze? Well, what happened there was a friend of Catherine's, one of the rebels came in and took that prison book that guy dropped on the floor, and then just ran off. And if you would like to see that animation, I would recommend looking that up for yourself, because for some reason my game decided to freeze and not show that. And then she also opens up the prison and locks it with that marker down there. So, we are free from the prison. We can look around. And if we see right here, this is called the Starfisher, and this is actually where the end of the game is going to take place. And it ironically is where the game also starts. This right here is called the Moiety Dagger. And it's not extremely relevant, but it does symbolize the Moiety. And also an Easter egg. There's a child's face right there. We look up and we see a huge gold dome. And we don't know what that means or what it's used for. And we're going to have to find out one way or another. We see that the Starfisher has plenty of switches and knobs right here. We have this. And push the button and everything. And we notice that nothing is working. And that is because this Starfisher device does not have any steam power yet. If you'll notice, this huge tube going along here is where the steam power comes from and goes into the machine. And it doesn't have any yet. So we need to go look for that and put the steam onto this thing. And you'll also see a hatch right here with a few buttons. Right? There's a specific code that needs to be put in here so we can open it. And we don't know that yet. So it really is a good system of how they've made the Starfisher, so you can't just leave the prison right as you start the game and just immediately, you know, open up the hatch and then just like stop the whole, or like finish the whole game right there without having done anything. It's really good how they've made it so you can't just do that. We go this way, we look down, there's a huge cliff. You'll also note there's a bridge right there. So keep looking around. We've explored this area, and this is an area that we're going to need towards the end of the game. And yes, I will just be here for the next couple hours non-stop commentating and playing this game. But anyways, yeah, we head off in this direction over to the coast. Looks nice and everything. You look down and you see the guy that got shot and dragged off the cliff. And this was the guy who stole the book that Atrus gave us. And the rebel that came in and dragged him off the cliff and reopened the prison and locked it. And also ran off with the prison book. Now, this guy doesn't really have a name. He is, however, Gehn's guard. And I will go into more detail about the names and characters of this game in just a moment. But this guy is Gehn's guard. And he basically has to do what Gehn says and report back to him, you know, what happened. Almost like a slave, kind of. But, yeah, we have some stairs. We can head up the stairs. Can't look down, but you can look right. We keep heading up the stairs. And we see 4 different things we can take. There's what's called the gate room. There's a downstairs, a bridge into something else, and where we came from. So, we can pick any of these directions. We can go downstairs. Just looking around and everything. Very wonderful, very detailed graphics and everything. We see this gate that we cannot open. But what we have to do is go down and go under it. And we see this right here. Can look inside this. And see the room. So, since we can't walk through here, there's not much to do here yet, so we can go ahead and back out and head back this way. And if we head back to this, which is called the gate room, this is called the gate room. Go inside. Stars on the ceiling. And you'll notice the symbol on the floor. That is the Dunny number system, which is the number 5. And you'll even notice that if I pause the game, right there is once again the 5 symbol. The number 5 does pop up quite often in this game, like how there's 5 pillars and a beetle on each pillar, so 5 beetles. And also 5 different rotations for this dome. And there's that symbol once again. But we can look out this door and see that that is an entrance into the gold dome. And just about anywhere you are in the game, entering a new building, or if you're outside, or in a cave system, the soundtracks are always pretty amazing. So if we hit this button here, it will start rotating the room. So you'll notice these doors that look like this. Wait a minute. So there's one on the outside. Then there's 2. I think there's 4 of those doors, and one of them is already open. And you have to rotate this room a certain amount of times in such a way that you can make your way through that door that is already open and progress from there. So we can't go into the room from here. Let's try that back gate that we saw. Once again. This one right here. We head under. We still cannot head into the room this way. But see this one right here. This right here is what we have to get to. And to get to here, we have to rotate the room some more. So, let's head back outside, climb up the stairs, and do so. we can see another one of those doors. Can't enter from here. Let's check the gate again. Check the gate down here again. And also an Easter egg. More child's faces right there. Rand Miller's Kids, which is the co-producer of this game, I believe. So we once again cannot enter that door that we saw once again. We've already seen this door, and we know that it's closed. Stars on the ceiling. If we actually look in these beetles, which is something that we can do, we can click on that, open them up, look inside, and we'll see a picture. There is... all these pictures have to do with future islands that we will come across. And this islands in particular, and the things that we see in this picture, is how Gehn makes his books, how he makes books and linking books and everything. With, you can see all the wood, and there's a looks like a wood chipper, and there's a room and everything. That's how he makes his books and everything. And there's also some Dunny writing on the wall, which we cannot understand unless you know Dunny, which I do not. There's another beetle, and this one has a picture again, and all these people who appear to be worshipping him in some way. And I cannot tell if he's actually floating or if there was meant to be a floor there, but it looks like he's floating and everything. There's another beetle. And the soundtracks do get more and more interesting the longer you listen to them, by just staying in one room. This one is Gehn, who appears to be sending someone down something. And at least what I know about this is this appears to be Atrus falling down the Starfisher with his Myst book and everything. Which is what happens the beginning of Myst. The beginning of Myst, Atrus is falling into the Starfisher with his Myst book. Another beetle. And there is... I don't actually know the story behind this one. I see a lot of people, and there's Gehn. Look like, I can't tell if those are villagers or rebels or who they are. I believe this is the final beetle. And this one... Nope, we've already seen this one. Okay, so those are all the beetles right there. And a very brief backstory to what some of them mean. But anyways, back to what we were doing. We have to rotate this room so we can get to that other open door that we saw. By going back under the gate, back out here, and rotating this room some more. So it's open from this end, but not the door that we need. We do not need this door, because number one, it's not the right one, and number two, it's actually still closed. So if we head back to the cage here, you will notice that this is now closed. And we cannot see anything actually from this angle. So, rotate the room just once more and check that cage one last time. So we cannot enter the room from this side, but if we now check this cage, this back entrance once again, we can see that it is now in fact open, and has the correct room that we need. So we can now head into this, and we can see the steam power that I talked about. There's a switch and a button and the steam power. So notice how the picture shown looks like what we saw. It shows a picture of the Starfisher, and all the steam is just going to waste right here. So if we switch this lever, it is now, instead of coming out of there, going through this pipe over to the Starfisher. And that is what we need. And we have to do this for every single steam lever that we find. So, we head back this way through the hallway. There's a switch. Now this switch opens those doors that we saw. With the little star symbol on it, all those doors, this switch will open those doors. Right, so that's one of those doors opened. We also notice another button that rotates the room. Can't enter from here, and there's just the steam power behind us. So in this particular position, we actually have trapped ourselves in here, so we have to rotate again. And you'll notice that we can in fact enter from this side, and we opened one of those doors that we saw using that switch, so we can actually head in here. This is another door right here. This door actually goes outside. We notice another switch right here to open a door, and another button to rotate the room. We have once again trapped ourselves. Can't go anywhere from here. So, rotate again. And we actually can go from this angle. And we're almost done with this room, at least for right now anyway. So rotate twice more. Once again, can't enter, and we no longer have to check down there, so this is the final rotation. And the door that we first saw is now open. Just like so. There's another button right there that we do not have to use yet. So, we can see we started down there. And everything. And we can now head into the huge gold dome that we saw. Now we see this right here. This is important because this shows the 5 different shapes of the islands. All 5 shapes of the islands. And we're going to need this information for an island that we will soon find. So, look up and see that thing. Head outside. We notice more steam. This one shows ladders. It is providing steam to this ladder by turning this lever. Right? So that is now what we have done. So now that ladder can move. And if we head down here to the end of this, there's another steam lever to more ladders. Right there. Right? And we can notice that is the closed door. And if you look right here, there's a rotating dome, and we will get to those eventually. But we will now, at least for a bit, read Atrus's book that he gave us. They held for more than 30 years, but the corrections I made to Riven had finally failed. The island has resumed the familiar pattern of decay that is the hallmark of my father's work. I must now race to implement this new patch before it's too late. I only hope that my revised theories are sound. Revisions to Riven completed. There are still a number of minor adjustments that which need to be made, but the basic corrections have been entered and should be working. Something's not right. I've been monitoring the instruments for several hours now, and have thus far observed nothing. No change. It's impossible that I've made an error, though I've checked my entry against my pre-notation and can find no discrepancy. I have not had a rest in nearly 3 days, so it may be that I'm just not seeing it. If the fault is with my foundational assumptions, however, perhaps after a short rest I will see something. Success. It appears that my repairs have been effective after all. The gateway image has become noticeably clearer, and although it is impossible to know this with absolute certainty, the island seems to have quieted itself. Just a few more weeks of work, and I should be free, at last, to go there myself and attempt to bring Catherine back. The past 8 months have left me little time to think, to devise a strategy for getting her out of there. I have received no sign from her in all that time. I'm afraid that I must assume that she is all right, lest my fears undermine my efforts to bring her back. I did not create the Age of Riven. Unlike my father, I have never presumed to have such power, and yet the future of all those who live there has fallen into my hands. So far, I have managed to read the page before it turns. The island continues to appear stable, and I would like to believe that I have saved a dying world, but the theories of one individual cannot support the lives of real people indefinitely. I must get everyone off of Riven as soon as possible. The problem now is Gehn. I'll never be able to rescue Catherine and relocate the islanders if she is still the man he once was. I haven't seen him in over 30 years. But his history forces me to assume that he is still a threat. His myopic mission to restore the Dunny civilization has left too many innocent cultures dying in its wake, and would continue to do so, where he too once again would be free of the confines of Riven, for the Fifth Age, as he coldly titled it. The universe has been safe from his corruptive influence for the last 33 years, because no one has been able to leave that age, the last linking book out of Riven having been lost in the Starfisher upon my return to Myst. That was my intention, to maroon my father on Riven by removing all the existing linking books to other worlds. And since the art of constructing books has long been lost in the fall of Dunny, he would be trapped there for the remainder of his lifetime, and effectively segregated from the countless other worlds that he would have invaded. In effect, that is what we achieved, but the way it fell, however, was no one's ideal. Though the sting of the incident has gradually faded from my memory, the deep pain of the responsibility for what actually came to be has never left me. At the time it all seemed so clear. Ghen's destructive path could not be allowed to continue. But it was never my choice that the innocent inhabitants of Riven, who had already suffered so much, would be the ones to pay for it. Enough! To dwell on the past is to die in the present. The situation is not the same as it was then. The knowledge I've acquired in the years since that time has yet to be applied to this problem. I think I have the solution. Why did it not occur to me sooner? I do not know, unless the idea of it had been pushed out with the thoughts of my sons. A prison book. Many years ago, during a hunting expedition through the ruins of Dunny, I chanced upon a formula for a most unusual type of book. Unfortunately, due to the fact that my father was then in the habit of confiscating my discoveries, I was forced to leave it behind. Years later, however, as part of my efforts to project the unvulnerable worlds linked to the books of my library, I was pleased to find that I could still recall most of the formula, and with the experimentation quickly succeeded in creating one of these devices myself. The procedure is actually quite simple. By altering key lines of text but slightly, a normal linking book's connection can be partially severed, such that anyone who attempts to use the book will be permanently trapped in the dark void of the link. That is, unless someone else then uses the book, at which point that person would become trapped, and the first person displaced back into the world. The technique can be applied to books that have already been written, changes to the original text being so slight that anyone who is unfamiliar with the code will be unable to detect them. If needed, my father has not changed. What better bait could there be than a book that appeared to be a link back here to Dunny? Trouble. My nightly analysis of the island's condition has revealed that the tremors have begun again. The pattern, however, is new. The disturbances are the result of the changes I had made. This did not at first concern me, however. Tremors of this type were one of the possible side effects that I have anticipated during this initial phase of the island's readjustments. Still, in order to verify my assumptions, I decided to calculate again, incorporating the new data. The results were not what I expected. The damage to the understructure is more extensive than I realized. I can no longer go to Riven as planned. Catherine, forgive me. I must act while I still have the time. The signs are barely visible, but there's no question that the island's deterioration is accelerating. Total collapse is imminent, unless I can keep ahead, and that is becoming increasingly difficult to do. With every passing moment, I gain a clearer picture of the incredible chaos that my father's economy of words has yielded, but it is a dismaying process. The complexity of the problem is overwhelming. There is no end to this. The last few days have all but convinced me that the collapse of Riven is inevitable, and that at best I can only strive to delay it now, and hope that at some point the island will become stable enough to risk a rescue attempt. I think I've come up with a way to subdue the tremors. It will require my exclusive attention for at least a month or two, so it may be necessary to discontinue these journal entries for a while. Something truly miraculous has happened. Beyond all conceivable probability, someone has finally found my lost Myst linking book and has freed me from this prison. I immediately realized that this could be the solution to my dilemma, and I believe that my mysterious benefactor is willing to assist me. I'm still not sure it can work. The logistics of such a scheme are formidable, but the mere fact that it may now be possible for me to continue my repairs to Riven and yet proceed with my original intent to find Catherine has given me renewed hope. The last few days have left me little time to work out the remaining problems with sending someone else to Riven. It did occur to me, however, that if a way could be found to signal me once Gehn had been captured, it would no longer be necessary to take a real linking book to Riven, and risk the possibility of inadvertently releasing Gehn. The deteriorated state of the gateway image makes the use of a visual signal possible, but the picture remains a reliable indicator of Riven's condition nonetheless, by measuring and interpreting variations in the noise patterns. I am still able to observe basic changes that occur in the age. Even though I cannot see them, the problem is that my instruments can only detect changes that occur at a fundamental level, and it seems unlikely that an individual could affect such an elementary change from within the age. The idea may be foolish. Still, there is a known weakness that may be worth investigating, an anomaly that appears as a rift between two separate systems, the Starfisher, but how, or even if, this fact could be exploited, I cannot say. Sending someone to Riven also means that once I received the signal that they were ready to return, I would have to leave my writing in order to take a real linking book there myself. However, providing my father was safely out of the way, this should take very little time. After that, assuming the island does not incur much damage in my absence, it should then be a relatively simple matter to hold it together long enough for Catherine to return to Riven and evacuate the remaining islanders. Predetermining a signal without knowing the topography of the island may prove to be impossible, but I'm afraid there can only be one answer to the question of whether or not I should send my friend to Riven with a way out. The potential for failure will be greatly diminished if the prison book is all that is taken there. I am sure my father is expecting me to bring a linking book to Riven. May he not be disappointed. And that is Atrus's book. Okay, back to the game. So we turned on the steam power. We must now head back this way. And that was a ton of reading, so I am going to have to give my voice a break for a moment or two, so please forgive me for low amount of commentary. We finished the rotating room, we opened up all the doors, turned the steam on, we went back down that way, so the only way to go now is across this bridge. We see some sort of transportation thing right there, and if you turn around all the way, you get a better view of the rotating dome, and it is massive. So now this, here, let's open the door. This is Gehn's temple. Get pretty close to it. You can see that we can't leave yet because of the door. And this is easily my favorite soundtrack. I'm kinda... Oh yeah, so this temple soundtrack and the Temple Cave soundtrack right here are my two favorite soundtracks of the whole game, easily. But anyways, yes. This is Gehn's temple, and we can't leave yet. And we also see this door in the cave. And there appears to be a chair. And it opens. So, if we have a seat, this button closes it. And this lever right here, you notice this right here? To that huge thing that we saw in the temple, you can actually project your face live. So through this thing onto that huge circular cage that we saw in the temple, you can actually project your face there just by pulling that lever. So that noise was us projecting our face onto that round cage in the temple. And funny story, because if you leave this island and then come back, Gehn does that to you. Gehn literally observes you and watches you by being in this chair and showing himself to you. So we have some windows here. This one is outside, and this one is the temple room that we saw, and that is the door that was closed, and if we pull this lever, it opens the door. I think you now know why this is my favorite soundtrack. It is 1:30 on a Tuesday, March 31st, 2020. Anyways, yeah. So that chair closes behind us. See, now, this is open. Those are so back in there, those were called works. Those are statues of works, and they had those little star symbols on them again. And basically, the work is the most powerful animal that the Dunny Society knows of. And also, fun fact, if you see right here, this is a signature of, I think, his name was like Richard A. Watson. I don't know, Richard A. something, I forget his full name. But we see some stairs and a button, and a whole new island off in the distance. Push the button, and if you look off in the distance, there is a tram that is coming to get us. Right? So we hop on. And we can drive this by clicking this to turn around. And this to go forward, and this is quite fun. And here we are on the second island of Riven. And a fun fact about that tram ride, in the original DVD version, or CD version of Riven, before there were Steams, like back in the 90s and 2000s, you had to change the disc just to go to the next island. So to take that tram ride, you had to take disc 1 out and put disc 2 in, then take the tram just to come over here. So it was literally so complex, it was like each island had its own disc. That's literally how it was. But with this Steam version, you can just whiz about and do the speed of sound and super fast, and then not have to stop the game and change disc or do anything. There is no disc, actually. So we're on the second island. We look off to the right and we see this thing. So basically what that means, that symbol was a Dunny number. That was the Dunny number system 3, and that was a frog noise. So that is frog and 3. So we will keep note of that. Frog and 3. We have to take notes of that and remember that, because that is important. Frog 3. There is a big old cave system with stairs, and if we turn around from here, once again, in the shape of a frog, with that eye being the frog's eye, the eye of the frog. And here we have a tram call that we don't need because the tram is already there. And the tram will in fact stay there unless you do something else, like you press the button. And we can go either up or down. At first, I will probably go down. So, these right here are called sunners. And that sound is important. But then, of course, if you head back and turn... Okay. They do that. And they slide off the rock and swim out to the ocean. We are on the beach here. And we turn left. This rock is in the shape of a wark, and the wark is also important. And we see another eye. And with the Dunny number system, that was 5. And that sound was the wark. So, frog 3, wark 5. Alright, that's what we have so far. And we have to, and it's also much better to write this down and keep track of this stuff, just in case, just to be safe and everything. So, we have this. That was somebody warning these villagers from the watchtower this is the village island. As you can see, there's all kinds of huts and stuff. Go down here. There's yet another eye. And that number was 2, and that was the beetle. So, Frog 3, Work 5, and Beetle 2. If we turn on the faucet, it makes the shape of a beetle with the water. You'll notice right here there is a submarine that we have to take a different entrance into the village to get to, which means climbing back up the ladder and go back this way. Which means going up, and there's a bridge with an axe right there. And if we look off this way, if we go right and stay right, we see this, and here's where we started, was just over here. Because that's where Gehn's guard was laying down there and everything. Can't quite see it, but there's the Starfisher and the jail and everything right there. Or no, there's the jail. And there's the huge gold dome. And there's the tram. We don't actually need to take this yet. If we just pick any one... Oh no, yeah, we have to get the submarine, which is what we were doing, which means going this way. And this is the main entrance into the village. We see that there is a second path right here, and this goes into some sort of jungle. Goes into a big jungle. And there is another rotating dome right there, which, once again, we'll get to those a bit later. There's kind of a secret passageway down here, but we take this way, there's yet another eye. Those were the sunners that we heard and saw back on the rock, and that number was 4. So we now have 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? Which is Beetle, Toad, Sunner, and Work, right? That's all the information we have right now from those eyes. So we've got to go back and get the first one. Not that that's where we came from, we got to take this way. Go down here, this is called the Jungle Totem. And this button opens it. So, very nice soundtrack and scenery and everything. Let's go into this thing and close it. And this actually, you can either go down or go up. And this button right here calls a tram that is down below. So let's actually go up. So now that we're up here, there's the elevator that we came in. There's tons of water back that way. We are now up here with the rotating dome. And here's the different direction. Now this is a camera that looks at the eyes that go all the way around the rotating dome. And only one of these eyes is kind of a gold color. And we have to click this button right as the gold eye comes around. So we have to memorize what it looks like and click the button right at that point. So right about there. Nope. Right there. There it is. The dome stops and flips over. 57-minute video. And we can see that it flips over and turns gold, and that there appears to be a coded access with these domes that we do not know the code. We can guess, but it's not going to do any good. Right? We have to find this out. So, there's a different way back this way. You can see another watchtower thing right there. We have this. And something I didn't know about this is if we go up top here, if you look down, we have a huge device right here. And there is a little trapeze that is on it. And Gehn would sit right here, and this lever opens the platform, or even closes it. Or no, excuse me, closes it and then opens it. And this is because Gehn, he would actually, I don't know if he would I don't know exactly the beginning of the story, but he would take like a villager or a rebel or somebody, hang them from the trapeze and lower them down to the water, and he decided if they lived or died, basically, by closing the platform and letting them live, or opening the platform and having a work swim along and literally eat them. But all we're using this for is to close the platform so we can walk on it and use this stuff later. So we now must head back down. And there's the 1 hour mark on this video. We will now take the elevator back down and figure out the submarine. and we notice that if we walk away, the jungle totem closes by itself. And there was a little girl from the village that we must now head back to by going right. So, now that guy is there in the watchtower. At least I thought I saw someone. I don't know. But here's the main entrance into the village. And here we have a picture of what appears to be Gehn with that star symbol and two people doing something. A cave drawing of Gehn. I don't know the story behind that one either. But this is also kind of a neat little rock you can look out of. And here is the village right here. And there's villagers in the top left, top right, and towards the middle of your screen, who are all running away because I am like an intruder or something. Which would be kind of weird, to be perfectly honest, just have a complete stranger show up to your village one day. So they are just running away back into their huts and everything. So here's the work device that we saw from the hill, and all kinds of rocks and stuff. And this device right here, is important because it is something that you will find out when we get to a different island. So, keep heading up this way. We see all kinds of huts and stuff. Plenty of ladders to climb up. Right, and if you click on this person's door 5 times, I think if you wait, here it is. She looks out the door and closes it. So, more houses, stuff right there. Head back up this way, go around this person's house, head up the ladder, and we can see big old fat submarine that we can in fact go into even way up here out of the water. But because it is out of the water, nothing works. So, let's go back out. Close that, and push this lever to put the submarine into the water. So, we also see some other stuff here. Don't know the story behind these ones either. I don't know if they have meaning, or how relevant they are, or if they're just village items. But we must now take this whole way back through the back entrance of the village. You can see there it is. The back entrance of the village, to get to that submarine and use it. And I will now give my voice a rest. Oh, these guys are back. Let's scare them off this time. And you will see the animation of them going off into the water. Back to this entrance, go around this beetle pool, head down this ladder, and just like that, we are at the submarine. And we're in. So, we will now do things. No, we will now, turn around. And make it to this control tower. And we have to notice how none of these platforms, the platform here, here, and here, and there, are not extended, but these two are. Well, if those two weren't extended, then you couldn't do anything. We have to extend all the platforms. And you can see that they are now all extended. So, let's go back. We have arrived at a school. And there, right here, this is how you learn the Dunny number system. It shows a number, and you count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was 7. Okay, we counted 7 movements. Therefore, that number is 7. And it also represents the people that fall into the work and get eaten, like out there. So, right, there's 5. We got 7 again. We just got 7 a third time. Okay, so even though that guy got eaten, that number right there is 7. We just got the number 7 4 times, which is bizarre. But we can see some Dunny writing on this board, and this. Now this is Gehn. Speaking Dunny. So, the only thing that we have to take from here is this little number system right here, which we have. Now we head over to the work device because we put the platform down earlier. Right, so now we're here. At the work device that Gehn once used. So here's the platform and everything. Right here, you can walk on it. And right here is the trapeze device that we need to use. use it, and it takes us up. Okay. This is the Moiety prison. We go left. There's a ladder down this way. Go ahead, put it down. And we go back. You can see the whole village from here. We can now, by turning this thing, go in. So, we can now head into this prison, and what we do is, we go down to here, open that up, and pull this, and the wall opens up. We can now go in. And it closed behind us and everything. We must now go to the end of this dark cave. And turn on these lights right here. And there we go. And back here, there is a door. Now, at the end of this one is the Animal Stones puzzle. And by completing this puzzle, you unlock a new age of the Moiety, where they are rebellious against Gehn. Kind of like where the rebels are and everything. And this age is called Tay. And that's why they're called rebels, is because they rebelled against Gehn and everything. So, the first one that we are missing, I believe, is the beetle. And we remember that we saw 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I believe number 2... Or no, wait a minute, we don't put that one up yet. I'm already getting confused. No, the first one that we saw, the one that we're missing, is a fish. Then, from the beetle pool, we have the beetle. Then, from the tram, where you get off, you have the toad. And then, off in the jungle, we had the Sunners. And by where the Sunners were, we have the work. And now the wall opens up and shows us a linking book to an age called Tay. So, this is an age called Tay, where they rebelled against Gehn and everything, with the rebels. And up there, I believe, is a Moaidi prison, or no, the Tay prison. And you can see it's kind of a nighttime environment, lake and everything. Turn around, and we have this bizarre looking structure. Right, and we get shot. The guy on the right, the guy on the left, is the guy we never saw. And the guy on the right is the guy who took my book in the beginning. At least I think, anyway. If I remember that correctly. Might be off. But now we are being taken to this huge thing that we see. We are taking a boat ride over to this structure, which is the Tay prison. And now we wake up in the Tay prison. Look out here, see that's where we were. And if you look out here, if you wait for a moment, something will happen. Yeah, down there on the bottom. You see that? There's that person. I think her name is Nella, and she's a dear friend of Catherine. And she will actually now come into this room and give us some books and stuff that we need.
Saya yapalo. Yapa manay yalepo. Miotisay. Bekaretere wira pe yelo kene falapo. Tisay. Why te fulupe?
Right. This is the prison book that got taken from us. It looks like Dunny, but we're not going to use it. And this is Catherine's journal, and it's way longer, so I think I will read up until this note, and then I'll just let you guys read the rest and pause the video and stuff. I linked to Riven a week ago. The smell of the place overwhelmed me moments before I could see anything. With my sight only potentially partially cleared, I stood motionless, peering ahead through a dim veil, which was slowly lifting. This is much harder to read. Tell you what, I'll just do that for the whole thing. I'll just flip the page, wait for a second, let you guys pause and read, right? So I'll basically just be turning the page for you, and you can read for yourself. But there's something in here that we actually need to remember, and it is the combination for that hatch that we saw back at the Starfisher, which is right here. Using the Dunny number system, it is 35545. Right? And then here's the rest of the journal. You can see how much longer this is. And there's the end of that. Alright. Now that we have the books, she's going to come back in one more time and link us back to the Moiety prison, or Moiety cave.
Sirapo. Ibuko mo buko wisipo. Na vene. Tapo mo revene beno. Now, Katerina ne. Wisifa polo ya sepe yai.
So, this links us back to the Moiety cave. So now that we've retrieved the prison book that got stolen from us, and Catherine's journal as well, along with Atrus's, we can now head back down this. Make our way back to this elevator. We go down, and there's nothing here because we never called the tram, so simply go back up and call it with that blue button. With this button right there. Now we go back down. We can now take this tram ride. a number of things that need exploring on this island, like this. We go this way. We head up these stairs. This is the workroom. And if we have a seat, and this is actually underneath that huge lake that we saw on the village. You can see there's all kinds of water and stuff. And if we pull down one of these levers, like the left one, and have a look at it, turn on this one. This is actually the inside of Catherine's prison. So, Gehn is the father of Atrus, and Catherine is the wife of Atrus. And Gehn separated Catherine from the moiety and put her on this prison. And you can now see that she is there and everything. Bored out of her mind. Just walking around on the prison. And stuff. And this right one, you know that thing that I mentioned that we saw in the middle of the water on the village island? It's actually like a spy scope type thing, where you can look around. There's the school. There's some huts up there. There's the walkway. And here's the fish. The first animal in the sequence of those animal stones that we missed. So they made it a bit more difficult with the other four were with the eyes that had the number and the sound. But the first one, the fish right here, you have to go all the way to the whole different island, go into this room and turn this on, and look at the shadow of it to see the fish, to find out the first animal in the sequence of those animal stones to unlock that linking book to Tay. And you have to do all of that just to receive this prison book that got stolen from you at the beginning. Now this right one is pretty important. You see all these eyes. The shape of each eye is the exact same shape of eye on each rotating dome that is gold. And each light is a different color. And each color represents a marble. Now these marbles are called fire marbles, and they are located within the huge golden dome that we saw back at the first island, which is really called Temple Island. So back on Temple Island, there's a huge gold dome that has fire marbles, and each marble is a different color. And each one of these color lights represents one of those marbles. And each one of these eyes represents a rotating dome. Right? So like how that one is blue, this one is green, this one is yellow, that one is orange, and this one is red, and this one calls the work. This one actually calls a work over here. So there are works in these waters that can in fact eat people upon Gehn's demand of opening and closing that platform back up top. So he can just do that and unfortunately commit murder upon a number of villagers and rebels and whoever he could get his hands on, basically. Because he's just fun like that and loves to murder folks, apparently. We call that work a second time. and he finally realizes that we are just messing with him and that there is actually no food. We call him a third time. If we call him a third time, he doesn't even fall for it. Just swims right by. And if we call him a fourth time, he is extremely angry at this point. And slams his body into the glass. And if you call him a fifth time, the sequence will just start over. So that is the red light that calls the work, and the one after it is actually broken. So notice how there's 6 of these, and one of them is broken. That leads 5 of these eyes with individual colors left. We will need those, because those eyes and those different color lights, we'll need those. Because if we now make our way back, we never went this way though. So let's go this way. There's an elevator. We are on an upper level of this elevator. We could open this door. There's a tram facing the wrong direction, so press the button and watch it rotate from the outside. And funny thing is, we're not actually gonna go. If you noticed, there's a room right there. So simply go ahead and turn back around. And we have this right here. This is called Map Island, and is the 4th island of Riven. That is an island we have not been to yet, but we're gonna get there. We can head through here, look around and see all these different rocks and stuff. Take the elevator. Turn around and there is a building right here with another rotating dome. Head back around here. and use the camera for it, it's kind of broken. So we just have to kind of like guess with where it's going to be and everything, and get it right after a few seconds. And the dome stops rotating and simply opens up. So let me show you how to use this whole map thing. If we head out this way to the ledge, these are the 5 different islands of Riven, with Crater Island, Prison Island, Map Island, I believe this is Temple Island, and no, Village Island and Temple Island. At least I think so, hope that's right. If we simply just press one of these buttons, how about the one that we're on right now, Map Island? It kind of starts to bubble and opens up. Right there. And the part that is especially the tallest part of where these bubbles are is representing where the rotating, it shows you where the rotating dome on each island is. So if we turn around, go back into this building now, it is now showing us the island that we opened up back there. Right, we can pull this up and look around, and we have to look for where the rotating dome is on this topographic thing. I don't see it on this one. Is it that? Can't tell. Here we are. We found the rotating dome. Now, you have to map, literally map this. So this is a 6x6, and this is a 5x5. So if we have on the very far right an up 1, and then right there, you have to literally map specifically each square on this map where the rotating dome is, so that you know where to place the marbles when you get to that huge gold dome. And there's once again a coded access that we still do not know. We can guess all day, all we want, but we're not going to get it. There's a one in a many thousands, possibly even millions of guessing that and having it be correct. But that is just a basic demonstration of what this island is all about. And also, what I showed, you have to do this for each and every one of these islands if you want to find out where the rotating dome is on each island, geographically, and then put that in for the fire marbles. So it really is not easy. They are genuinely challenging puzzles and codes in this game. But wonderful music and scenery, though. See a nice close-up of how they make those bubbly things. All the water and stuff. So now we must quit dwelling and hanging around and wasting time. We must now go back, or head over to, I believe, what is it, the Village Island? Yeah, with this tram here. So... This is the back entrance into Ghehn's lab, and you'll notice that it is locked. We cannot enter from this way, so we have to go back and do all of that again. But it's okay because we will skip around just to save some time here. So, skip that tram ride because you've already seen it. Turn around. Head back this way, and take this elevator once again, but skipping everything with all the animations and stuff. So, take this tram. We have now made it back to the village island, and now see the elevator in sight that we must now take back up to the second floor. Which is not the rotating dome, but the jungle totem. Right here, so not the rotating dome, but the jungle totem right here that we can open up. Right. So now we must go back. Not up to the village, but back up to this here. And take this thing that we saw from earlier. We have made it to Crater Island, the third island of Riven. Remember the picture in that one beetle that we saw of this wood chipper and this room? We are now there. This is the place where Gehn literally makes his linking books and everything. So, there's a lever. Doesn't do anything yet because no power, and the power is way down there at the end. Let us go ahead and get to it. Just as a quick demonstration of the wood chipper. Right? Turn that power system all the way right. And make it back this way. Climb back up the ladder. Pull the lever and use it. Yeah, don't trip and fall, 'cause you'll die. telling you that right now. That is the wood that he uses for the books and everything. Let us now turn this back to this, which is called the boiler room, which is kind of like Gehn's security protection against anyone entering his lab. If you look here, all kinds of blue flames. Go up here. We cannot go in because of this right here having it be about 3,000 degrees centigrade. So, we look in here. There's the building and everything. Here is... well, that's a power light or something, but this is the thing that will drain the water. Look inside here. There is boiling hot water. So if we pull this lever, it stops the flames, or it transfers the flames from beneath the room up here to the power light way up there. If I can have my cursor back, please, thank you. Okay, there it is. Notice how the flames were down here, now they're up there. Next one is to drain the water. And the power that gets provided to this room, the power that gets provided to the boiler... okay, bleh, can't speak English for some reason. The power that gets provided to this boiler room gets divided into two sections right here with these two pipes. To have it in this orientation is for the water, the flames, and for the other orientation, right there, is to lift the floor. So we have now done everything that we needed to do to now enter this boiler room that Gehn created to block anyone off from entering his lab. So we transferred the flames from the floor up to this power light, so the temperature is okay, no more water, and we raise the floor. And the door opens. Just like so. And we will also note that the thermometer right here is no longer bright red. We step away, and it closes, and we see a little window right there, and we simply climb into the ventilation system and head from there. It's pretty old. You can imagine how many decades old this thing is. So dirty and stupid. And for quite a few scenes here, I literally can't see anything. I can't see anything. I just have to hope I'm going the right way. Which I am. I am now climbing out this ladder. Looks like a telescope type thing or something. But we have now made our way out of this ventilation system, onto the floor, jump out, turn around and look up. That's where we came from. And there's a bird that goes by. And we keep climbing over this hill. You can actually see, the other islands from here. Like there is Map Island. There's Gehn's lab. There's Village Island way in the back. Then there is Temple Island. You can see, there's the boiler room, the wood chipper, the slide where you come down from, all the ventilation systems and crap. Which I believe that's actually where we came from. We literally went in there, climbed up the hill, and went into there. All that. So here we have a room. We head in, turn around, close door behind us. We have a room right here. There's a fan on right here, and if you climb through this ventilation, that is how you get to Gehn's lab. But this right here, once again, it needs the steam power, because pressing that lever does nothing. But we can open this and put some food on it, and go back outside, and change the power. Which is why we're now leaving this door open, so we can get in and out super easily, and open this hatch, and climb down. So, 1, 2, and also, Easter egg, I think it's Ryan Miller's son, Alex, put his signature right there. So we can now head this way, jump over the pipes, around the boiler room, back over here to the power center, and put it way back that way, and do all of that again with making our way back. Nice and fast. So, we can now put this down. And there is the 2-hour mark on this video. And this does take a moment or two, so we will be here for a bit. 2:50 p.m. I am standing up and stretching after sitting down for 2 hours non-stop. Kinda sucks. Oy. Riven, the sequel to Myst, full playthrough. I am actually not in my chair. Wow, okay, that was quick. Let's pull that back up. Like you would reel in a fishing rod or something. And if we open this, we can see that we have caught a frog. I've never seen it work that quickly. So to turn this fan off up here, we have to go outside, close these doors, and we shoot 2 different passageways. We go right outside. We can now turn the fan off. And we also see a much closer view of Gehn's lab, the front entrance, which is once again locked. So the only real way to get into it from this way is to simply turn the fan off, like we just did, and go up. And open this hatch. And we are now in Gehn's lab. Here we are. Here's his journal. And once again, this is also pretty long. I will just kind of skim through it and let you pause to read. And here we have in here, once again, there has to be a deeper meaning to 5. Once again, the eyes and everything. And there's Gehn's new age, the 233rd age, Gehn's new age that he makes and everything. And we're going to visit that new age in a bit. But here is the coded access to the rotating domes that we needed. And it is as follows. 2, 8, 10, 11, 25. 2, 8, 10, 11, 25. We will need that. 2, 8, 10, 11, 25, which is not too hard to remember. And that is the end of his journal. Notice how his gun is not there when it usually is. Here's the eye with the 1 on it. And I'll let you read this page for a second, pause the video. Something about the villagers just surveying something and then floating objects and stuff, and yeah. Weird stuff. But there's where we came from through the ventilation system, have a look around his office for a minute. There's one of the things that we saw. There's a bunch of eggs. It's weird. And he actually... Can I back away from this? What the heck is happening? Okay. Caught a couple of frogs there. And stuff. That is back out to the tram ride, back to the map island. And this is where he makes his linking books. And we can even see one of his attempts right here failed. Right, all burnt and everything. And we open it up. There's burnt pages and no link. Failed attempt of a linking book. So I'll close that. Put it back in there and close this thing right here. There you go. So from here, we actually don't even need any other islands except for this one and the village, I think. So all we have to do from here is simply open this door, walk out. Right, so now the doors are open. Head this way. You can see huge dome. There's the huge gold huge gold dome, right? And because we activated the steam here, we activated the steam up here to the bridges, this now works. It points way up high. But now it faces that way. We can now head into this from the other side. And if we head this way, we have a missing platform and a button right here that puts the missing platform up. And if we head back in, head left, we have this to extend the bridge over to this thing where we first were. And also, yes, that does 5 complete rotations. Of course, why wouldn't it? And we can actually put this lever up to put the bridge up now. Right. So we can now go back. Because we extended that bridge, put the bridge up, and filled in that missing platform. There is an elevator here that now works. And we have another rotating dome right here with a camera. Right. Now the thing is, even though we know the code for this, these linking books, the linking book does not have power. And the reason that we even do the fire marbles up there is because these linking books need power, and that is where they get their power from, is the fire marbles. So, to get to these fire marbles, go back, take the elevator, right, head this way, and go across this platform. You can see the dome right there. And here is the final door that we have to open for the rotating room. And this one opens right in front of us. So now officially, all the doors are open. And we can see that we actually cannot access it from this side, once again. So, just simply rotate it from here. What does that leave it on? Leaves it on this one. So now we can literally go this way, and rotate the room twice more from here. And we've seen it happen about 50 times, so we'll go ahead and skip. Right. So now, the bridge is up, and it provides us access to these. These are the fire marbles. Now, if you took note of the map island, and did all of those like each and every square that the rotating dome was within each island. It also maps out the shape of each island. So, on the village island, the rotating dome is located here. On the map island, the rotating dome is located there. We don't need the yellow one. On the, let's see, this is the, yeah, so on the temple island, rotating dome is located there. On the prison island, the rotating dome is located there. And last but not least, on Crater Island, the rotating dome is located there. Now, we have to lower this down and activate it. It is now 3 o'clock. Okay. Right, so that is how you know it works, is when it makes huge noises like that. So now, the linking books within each rotating dome has power. So if we go back with this, skip those animations of the room rotating, go back across our platform and everything, and go back down, use that elevator again, now we put in our coded access, which is 25, 11, 10, 8, and 2. And this rotating dome now opens. And the dome also now rotates outside around us. So, we can now open this book and access Gehn's 233rd age. Right there. And now, we can link. Here is Gehn's 233rd age, Gehn's new age. We are surrounded by linking books that do not work yet. We can see plenty of devices and contraptions around us and downstairs and stuff. That doesn't work. This button right here will call Gehn. So Gehn will now come here and yeah.
I apologize for the cage. I'm afraid this situation has often required of me a more primitive code of conduct than I might otherwise have chosen. I am Gehn. I assume you've heard of me. Yes. Well, I suspect you have acquired some false information of who I am now. Not that my son would have lied to you about me. No, not Atrus. It's just that, well, I'm sure he believes me to still be the depraved father I once was. Yes. I even tried to kill him once. God, if I had accomplished that, who knows what I would have become. A great father indeed, who tries to murder his own son. Thankfully, he trapped me on age 5, a prison of my own creation. No books, no precious inks, no ages to link to, nothing but my own foolish ambitions. That was 30 years ago. 30 years, 30 lifetimes, what does it matter? No sentence could be too harsh for the man I was. But I have changed. To be sure, the deeds of my past can never be completely atoned for, but my mission was an honorable one. I'm sorry, this is all a bit awkward. It's been a long time since I've attempted to persuade anyone of my intentions. Most of the people here have already made their minds up about me one way or another. I myself do not trust the words of most men, so I don't expect you to believe me. In the end, though, you may discover that I do have more than mere words to offer. Atrus's choice of punishment has been hard on the people of Riven, and many have suffered because of it. The island has been steadily decaying for years, but according to my most recent measurements, it appears that the 5th age has entered its final days. Unless the villagers can be relocated soon, the island will collapse entirely and everyone will perish. It has taken me a long time to do it, but it appears that finally I'll be able to make some substantial amends to my past transgressions, especially in, well, I'm afraid I've had some trouble with Catherine and the moiety. In any society, there will always be a small percentage of the population with rebellious tendencies. Before Catherine appeared, the moiety, as they call themselves, had been relatively harmless. I mean, the natives here are a fairly violent people by nature, but I'd almost come to accept their presence. It seemed inevitable under the circumstances. Upon Catherine's return, however, their violence intensified considerably. It seems she's become some sort of religious savior to them. And as far as I can tell, she's come to believe this herself. So I've had no alternative. I had to separate her from her people. I must admit, though, that my concerns were not entirely for her safety alone. The actions of Catherine and the moiety have put my own life at risk on numerous occasions. Consequently, the lives of all the people here. Therefore, I must ask you to refrain from any attempt to free her. Although I'm sure Atrus desires it. Indeed, he must desire it with all his heart. But he is completely unaware of her recent state. Which brings me to the point of all of this. The linking book you brought with you. You're very fortunate to have recovered it. If I may. Thank you.
And then Gehn looks at the prison book and realizes that it looks like a dunny. And what's currently going through his mind is he secretly wants to kill Atrus, which he basically admitted that a few minutes ago with trying to kill him once. So basically he wants to kill Atrus, and he's thinking about how he can do so right now, because that link in the prison book looks like a dunny, and that's where Atrus is. So he's thinking, if he can link there, he'll find Atrus and kill him. But he doesn't realize that that is a trap to lure him in. It is a one-man prison. And he also thinks about this too, and wants me to do it. And you'll notice that when I put myself into this prison book, he will have a gun with him.
Perhaps it would be best if you went through first.
Right? I have voluntarily put myself in the prison book, and he opens the book. Watch this. He has a gun with him. There it is, on the right. Exactly. He wanted to kill Atrus by linking to Dunny and shooting him. But this is not Dunny. This is a prison book. A flat-out trap. He cannot resist temptation and puts himself in the book. Which means that I take his place, and he takes my place. We have traded places, which means that I am where I am out of the cage, and he is in the prison book. So, what we now must do is pull this, open up that cage, right? There's all these, the linking books work now, and everything. This is a furnace, so let's go ahead and turn that on. So, we now must head downstairs into his private bedroom and everything. And we have a faucet. And this is his wife, who died giving birth to Atrus. And this is his father, who was 100% Dunny, which means that Gehn was half Dunny, half human, and Atrus was a quarter Dunny. That appears to be some horn of some sort or something. Then this appears to be a film of his wife.
Tagamem, san potegan shem. Fasi.
That is Gehn's wife. I don't remember her name at the minute. But another fun fact, Gehn's father was also called Atrus. And I suspect the whole reason of Gehn wanting to kill Atrus, his son, is because his wife died giving birth to him. So that is my suspicion of him wanting to kill Atrus, which is why he had the gun with him, when he wanted to enter this, which looked like Dunny. So we have a nightstand right here. This is his second journal, which I will once again skim through and have you pause the video and read it for yourself if you would like. And that is that. So, this, there's a drawer right there with something in it, I don't know what that is. When we make it to the prison island, which we actually saw that Catherine is trapped on, the prison cell has 3 chimes in it, and there's a certain order in which they go in, and this has that combination. So we will need that. So, now that we have the combination for the prison cell on the prison island, we must now go to the prison island and put that in. And I guess he kept this in case he forgot it. Forgot like how you like write down a password or something. He kept this in case he would forget the combination for the prison that he put Catherine on. So, let's go back upstairs. This is the real tiny one, which is the one to the prison island, which provides a link to the prison island. Right about there, yeah. Shall be linked. So, now that we have linked to the prison island, which is where Catherine is, we put in that combination that we heard from Gehn's bedroom, so, like that. Wait a minute, wasn't it? Okay, we have to go back and get it, because I have apparently forgotten that. So, 25, 11, 10, 8, and 2. And I will be skipping some animations once again. So, what was the combination? Okay. Let's now go back and put that in. Nope. This is it. There's the combination, okay. So we have now saved Catherine by unlocking this prison cell.
We have to move quickly. Gehn's people may already know what's happening. Once we're back with the Moed, he will have time to regroup. Can I see the book? You did it. We're all free. Gehn. But they're still his followers. I'm not sure what they'll do once they realize he's gone. I'll have to get the villagers to safety as soon as possible. You go back to the Temple Island and reopen the fissure. I know it's risky, but it's the only way to signal Atrus. I'll try to make it back there as soon as I can, but don't wait for me. Don't forget, the portal combination's in my journal. Good luck.
There's 2.5 hours on the video. So now that we have captured Gehn, and we just saved Catherine, we must now make the final run for it, and open up the hatch of the Starfisher, and put the Starfisher down. So there you go. So skip that. We've already seen that at least 4 times. Put the coded access back in one last time that we got from Gehn's lab. So 25, 11, 10, 8, and 2. Crap. 25, 11, 10, 8, and 2. Just like so. Right, one final link back to his place. And link back to Temple Island. Right. Right, so now take the elevator. Okay, all there is to do is make it back to the Starfisher and open up the hatch and put the Starfisher down. And that will be our signal to Atrus. So, you know, final look of the rotating room and everything. And all that stuff. It is time to open up the hatch and put the Starfisher down. Notice how Gehn's guard, where he got shot and dragged down here, his body is not here anymore. And also, one final Easter egg. There it is, more kids right there. Right there. So, let's open this thing up, now that it has steam. So now that it has the steam power, we can put this up. And I remember the coded access from Catherine's journal for the combination for the hatch. 3, 5, 5, 4, 5. Right, now let's change direction to down. Notice how you can see through it now, and you can see the cold, starry depths of space. And this is the final sequence of the game. This is the end of the game right here. Now it looks really dark from right here. And here is the end of the game. We have captured Gehn, saved Catherine, and we are now signaling Atrus. And I will let the end sequence play from here. And I will also let the credits play once this goes.
There isn't much time. Where's Catherine? Where's the book?
Atrus!
I don't know.
The villagers are safely in the Rebel Age. I thank you.
As do I. You've accomplished more than I could have hoped for. You've given me back my life. The path home is now clear for all of us. This is where our paths must part. Perhaps we'll meet again someday. You know where to find me. Goodbye, my friend.
Atrus' theme playing and everything in the background. And stuff. This line is awesome. Right here.
Now I understand. Endings and beginnings are within the fissure. That riven cleft of stars that acts as both a wall and a bridge. And though I am unable to understand how, the very flow of stars that brought my Myst book into worthy hands, I am sure served as a safe passage home for my friend. The Age of Riven is closed forever, but the people of Riven are free. And now I am at rest, understanding that in books and ages and life, the ending can never truly be written.
So that was Riven, the sequel to Myst, full playthrough with commentary. If you liked this video, leave a like and subscribe to show your support. And I will see you next time in the next video, whenever and whatever that may be. I will now... There's the cast of all the characters and everything. Gehn, Atrus, Catherine, Nella. Her name is Nella. Gehn's guard, Moiety prisoner, village boy, Gehn's scrap girl, and jungle Moiety scout. There will be no more commentary from this point on. I will let the credits play. And I will see you next time. Bye!